In this video, I'm going to be going over JavaScript form validation. So over here, if I reload and click on submit, we get this error. But if I write a name or just some gibberish, click on submit, we can see that we get hello plus the name. We can also put the age in here, and then we're going to add it. We can change the color of the text here also if we want to, which is what we're going to do today. And if you want to learn how to do this, then make sure that you watch this whole video. But before we get started, make sure that you like it, subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Follow me on Instagram and message me there if you want private web development lessons. But now let's get started. Now to validate a form, we first have to create one. So let's create it. In the action, we're going to put the path of our HTML file. We're going to add another attribute, which is called onSubmit. And so basically when we click on the submit button, what we're going to do is we're going to return a function. So I'm just going to write validate form, and we have to use the round brackets. Later on, we're going to create this function in our JavaScript file, but right now we have to create some elements. So let's create an input, and then for the name, we can just set this to name. ID, we can also set that to name. And what we can do is just write name in here so that we know what this input is for. And later on, we're going to make more inputs after we learn how we can validate it. So now we have to make a submit button. So let's just create a button and let's choose the submit option and write submit. I'm going to make this smaller so that we have all of the elements in one line. And so if I write something and click on submit, nothing happens because our function doesn't do anything yet. And before we open our JavaScript file, we have to name the form so that we can select it in case we would have multiple forms. So I'm just going to name this form. I'm going to copy the name of the function, which is going to run on submit, and we have to create it. So this is where the JavaScript comes in. So I'm just going to write function, the name of it. And so when we click on submit, then this function should run. So let's write a console log to see if it works. Let's do form submitted. Let's click on inspect and write something and click on submit. Now we can see that we got the log, but it's gone now. And that's because every time you click on submit, the page reloads. So let's see what would happen if I changed this to an alert. It would see that we would get it, and then the page would reload. And to stop it from reloading, what we have to do is get the event. So we got to go back to our HTML file, and when we write return and then the name of the form, we have to pass in the event. And in here, we're going to get it. So event. Now in here, we're going to write event.prevent default. Let's change the alert to a console log. Fix this. And if I write something in here and click on submit, we can see that the page doesn't reload anymore, and we can see our console log. And now that we have that out of the way, let's console log the value that we get from the input when we click on the submit button. So in the console log, we're going to write document.forms, and make sure that you write forms and not form because it's not going to work. We're going to write square brackets twice, and in the first square bracket, we're going to write the name of the form. So we're going to go to form, name, and I named it form, which is what I'm going to put in the first square bracket. And then the second one is going to be the name of the input, which you want to get the value from. So name, and I named it name because that's what this input is for. So we're going to write name in here. And if we click on submit, we can see that we're going to get the input. But to get the value, we have to go back here and write dot value. And if I write something again and click on submit, we can see that we're getting the value from the input. Now that we know how we can get the value, let's put it inside of a variable. So I'm going to make a variable name, and that's going to be equal to this. And what we can do now is add a greeting once we click on submit. So let's make an h1. And then in here, we can select the h1, so document.query selector. And then we're going to set the text content to equal to hello, and then the name. So we have to add the variable here, so plus name. And now if I write something like Josh and click on submit, we can see that we get hello, Josh. And obviously we can change this to whatever we want and it's still gonna work. And to make sure that people don't submit it blank, what we can do is make an if statement, which is going to check that name doesn't equal to nothing. Now, if we click on it, we can see that it doesn't work. But if we put a name or some text, then it works. Now, if you want to do something like this, so we can set the text if the value basically equals to nothing to error input value not found. And so if we click on it now, we basically get this error text. But if we actually put a value in here, then we get the other option, which is not going to be the error. And now let's try to add a few more other inputs and make this a bit more fun. So I'm going to add a color input. Input over here, color. The name is going to be set to color. Same goes for the ID. And so basically when we choose the color, what we're going to do is we're going to change the color of our text here to the color that we choose in here. So let's go back here, and then we're going to copy this variable, paste it under, change the name to color because this is going to be for the color input. Change this to color 2 because we set the name of the input to color over here. Now let's console log it and see what we get. So if we click on submit right now, we can see that we get a value, and this is going to be in hex. So if I do this now, then we can see that it does work. So let's go back here, and then we're going to go here. We're going to select the h1, or actually let's make a variable which is going to be the h1. So let's text element, and that's going to be equal to this. So paste this in here. And let's change all of this to text element so that it looks a lot better. And in here, we're going to set the style.color to equal to color. Let's see if it works. So if I write something here, it's going to be black, but if I change it, then we're going to see it change to red. And we can actually just put it in here so that it's not going to be in both of them. And it doesn't really matter because the default value is black, so we can just put it in here. But now if I write something, it's going to be black. Also, if I don't write anything, it's going to be also black, and we can change it to a different color, click on submit, and it's going to work. And let's do one more, which is going to be number. So let's do name. And then after this, we can do age, and then we have to make the input. So input number like this. Name is going to be number. Same goes for the ID. Let's actually add breaks now. So in here, we're going to add a break. We can also add a break here like this. And so we can go back to our JavaScript file and do this one more time. I'm going to put this actually here. So copy, paste, change this to age actually, not number. And I don't know why I put number in here, but it should be age. So the name age, ID also an age, and then change this to age also. And we have to include it in here now. So when you write the name, we're going to write hello name plus your. So you are plus the age plus years old. Let's see if it's not too long. Yeah, no, so it's fine. So hello name plus, so hello name, you're 2 years old. Fix this. But what if we just set the name to something and submit? We can see that we're not going to get the age because it's not set to anything. And well, we shouldn't even get this you're something years old because we don't have it. So we have to check for that. And to do that, we have to add the end signs in this first if statement. We have to write age is bigger or equal to 1. And obviously someone that's 1 is not going to do this, but you can obviously set this to whatever you want. Then we're going to do all of this. So if I wrote something in here and clicked on submit, we get an error because we have to write this also, and now it's going to work. But then what if someone just wanted to write their name and not their age? We'd still get an error, so let's fix this. We're going to write else if, and then we can just set this, or we can just copy this, paste it in here, copy this, paste it in here, and we're going to delete all of this part. So now if we just had the name, then what we would get is hello plus the name, Well, if we had the age, we would get the name plus the age. And if we had nothing, we would get an error. And obviously for the age, there's no point in submitting just the age, so we can just return the error. And I'm obviously going over the very basics of JavaScript form validations. So if you want to learn more, then comment down below if you want me to make another tutorial. But if you want to get better at this, then you just have to play around and make your own forms and make sure that they work. And so this is where I'm going to end this video. So make sure that you leave a like, subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss any upcoming videos. And make sure that you follow me on Instagram and message me there if you want me to give you private lessons on web development. And hopefully see you in the next video.